Shalom, giving our praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yoshai, Bahasham, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who teach us this truth, and salutation to the house of David, scattered abroad. And this is Banaya. So fair use. Shalom, giving our praises to Yahweh. So, disclaimer, I'll be playing a video.
This man's burgers were famous until people learned what was really in them. For 3 years, Billy Bull Henderson ran the busiest diner off Interstate 80. His signature dish, the Barnyard Special, costing $49.99 for a single burger, had a cult following. Truckers and tourists swore it had a weird, addictive taste nobody could describe. Cars lined the highway shoulder every weekend, and locals proudly brought relatives there for a real American meal. Rumors eventually reached the county health department. Not of food poisoning, something stranger. Anonymous notes saying, "Look closer at the meat." The diner always passed inspections with perfect scores, but a new inspector, Karen Miles, wasn't convinced her surprise visit looked normal. The kitchen gleamed. The staff was polite. The smell of onions filled the air, but a faint, musky odor drifting from a floor grate made her pause. It didn't smell like beef. That night, she returned. Through the back window, she saw Billy lifting a hidden trapdoor beneath neatly folded aprons. Descending into a basement no blueprint mentioned Karen called the police. When officers arrived and forced the trapdoor open, the stench was overwhelming. The basement was a nightmare. Filthy pens packed with rats and possums all writhing in the dark, and a giant blood-caked grinder in the center of the room. As Billy was led outside in cuffs, regular customers gathered, horrified. One man, mid-bite into a burger from the drive-thru, stared at his food and gagged. The diner shut down that night, and the local news quietly buried the story, afraid tourists would stop coming to the area. This man's burgers were
Okay, that's that and that. So I'll get into some scripture. This man should not be ruling. His system is flawed. His system is flawed. Oh boy. So this is why this is happening. Job 9 and 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So he's covered the faces of the Most High. He's whitewash everything to make it look like him. So that's part of who and what makes him the wicked. Because he has stolen identity. Ezekiel 4 and 13. And Yahweh said, even thus shall the tree start at 12. And thou shalt eat it as barley cakes, and thou shalt bake it with dung that cometh out of man in their sight. 13. And Yahweh said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them. See. So OC 9 and 3. they shall not dwell in the Lord's land, but Ephraim shall return to Egypt, which is slavery, and they shall eat unclean things in Assyria. And this is spiritual Assyria, where we are right now. Hebrew 12 and 16. Lest there be any fornicator, or profane person, as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For you know that afterwards, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. So there is no repentance for this man. That's why he's doubling down and doing all his wickedness. Everything that he does. You understand? He's the wicked. He's not in the temple, he's outside the temple. Okay? So he's doubling down and doing and multiplying his wickedness. How do we know he's the wicked? How do we know he's the wicked? Malachi 1 and 4. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus said Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. They shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh hath indignation forever. So he has righteous anger, because this man is evil as hell. He weaponized everything: food, air, water, all the natural stuff that is free. He tried to make you pay for it. You understand? This man is just, for want of a better word, evil as hell. Effing evil as hell. Okay? First Maccabees 1 and 60. That's the last one. So 1 and 62, First Maccabees. Albeit many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing. Wherefore, the rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meats, and that they might not profane the holy covenant, so that they died. And there was very great wrath upon Israel. So we give our praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yoshai Ba'ashem Rakakadash, and Shalom to the house of David, which is also the elect.